Well, it was the Financial Times. That's the very same paper that broke the story that Coutts had closed my account because of insufficient funds. Well, they were wrong about that. But the Times got the leak of the Financial Conduct Authority's report, and they put it today on their front page. FCA report finds no evidence of banks closing accounts for political leanings. Well, frankly, I didn't know really whether to laugh or to cry. And all of this ahead of the release at midday of this full FCA report, UK payment accounts, access and closures. Now, you would have thought, wouldn't you, that all they had to do was to read that vile 40-page document that Coutts prepared on me to realise my account had been closed because I did not align with the value of the bank. Yet we learned later on that apparently my case wasn't included. But aside from that, they discovered that absolutely nobody had had their accounts closed as a result of their views. Well, I could give you a list as long as your arm of people who've been debanked because of their political views and associations. Let's begin, of course, with the founder and organiser of Leave.eu, Aaron Banks and Andy Wigmore. Yes, Banks had his business accounts closed and Wigmore has had both his personal and business accounts closed. What about Richard Tice, now leader of Reform UK? Richard, who was an MEP with the Brexit Party, has found himself rejected for loans because of pure political reasons, and that for his business. Extraordinarily, Kevin Saunders, former boss of Border Force over in Calais, he's had his account closed, he thinks because he appears regularly on GBNews. Grant Shapps, Cabinet Minister, had his and other family accounts closed. Toby Young of the Free Speech Union, debanked, taken out of the payment system PayPal. And of course, the Reverend Richard Fothergill, who objected to the LGBTQ plus propaganda he was getting from his building society, only to have his account closed. What we see today from the FCA is a total whitewash. It is a complete and utter farce. But then I guess asking people who are biased to examine whether there is bias is probably not going to get you much of a result. But what's annoying is this. The FCA is the most important regulator in this country. Why? Well, because financial services are not just the biggest employer, not just the biggest earner of invisible income from abroad, it is Britain's biggest industry. And it used to be the jewel in the crown. And many of us believe with Brexit, this was the chance for our financial sector to really get back to where it ought to be as the leading global financial centre. But the fish can rot from the head down. And frankly, my view is that the FCA has now become utterly politicised, filled up with people who frankly have no experience of financial markets whatsoever. Oh, but they're very good indeed at pushing the diversity and inclusion agenda onto our banks, onto our insurance companies and onto the whole industry. Now, the response to all of this from Andrew Griffiths, the City Minister, today simply wasn't good enough. He reiterated that nobody should have their accounts closed for holding a perfectly legal view. Well, yes, but the Treasury, the government, has real power here. And I think we need a complete clean-out of these political appointees that are there within the FCA. Let's start again with people that actually understand financial markets and that come into something and promise absolute political neutrality.